Welcome back to the DrunkFriend podcast. For the uninitiated, we're a couple of retro gaming enthusiasts and YouTubers who started a podcast to chat with other people just like us. I'm Travis, aka NESfriend, alongside Alex, aka SNESdrunk.
Yo.
And joining us today is Daria from DariaPlaysRPGs. Hello, Daria.
Hello.
Hey, Daria. Thanks for joining us. For those of you out there who might not have any idea, please describe your YouTube channel to us. Give us your pitch, so to speak.
Ah, shit, you told me I wouldn't have to prepare anything. So, on the spot, I have a YouTube channel where I talk about and explore old role-playing games. Occasionally new role-playing games if someone's willing to send me a code for them, but usually just old ones. A lot of Sega.
Too much Sega for my liking.
Oh, please. I've seen your Sega drunk episodes.
I'm on a big Sega kick lately, yeah, for sure. And you used to be just, I don't remember what your original, was it just Daria Plays? And then you eventually changed it to Daria Plays RPGs.
Yeah. It was always RPG centric, but
Yeah.
I quickly realized that there was another Daria Plays.
What?
She's Russian, so it barely counts. Yeah. But I was like, maybe I should have researched my name a little more. But it's completely on brand for me not to. I once had a...
So it was Das Vidanya to Daria Plays?
Yeah.
It's like
Well, I
the
once
only
had a
Russian I know.
website that was also RPG, like ROM-centric. I had an emulation website that was RPG Classics, which if anyone is familiar with the internet at all, realizes there's already an RPG Classics out there.
Sure.
So I just have a bad habit of not researching names before I just start making branding images.
So speaking of that, why did you use Daria to begin with?
That's it's my nickname.
Does it stem from the ultra famous MTV star of the late 90s?
No.
No. Okay.
It doesn't. It's actually short for Alexandria.
Oh.
I'm another Alex.
I never made that connection before.
Me neither.
Yeah.
I feel so stupid.
No one really does.
I've heard of Xander, but I've never heard of the latter. Okay, that makes sense. So how are you dealing with the pandemic stuff? I mean, we have to bring it up because it's like hopefully things are manageable and stable and all that. And again, we hope all our drunk friends are staying safe and somehow managing to make ends meet during these awful times. It's not easy for anyone out there, so we just want you to take care of yourselves to whoever's listening. How are you dealing with it, Daria?
I'm a little bored, but I'm an introvert, so it's not that big of a deal.
Right.
I've been home for I think about three weeks now. I work
okay. Yeah.
I work for the school board, and they sent us home and then into spring break, so I got a little bit of a vacation. But this week we had to start doing distance learning, which my particular position, I'm not a teacher, so it's not that important that I get in there and really prepare anything. So I've just been collecting a paycheck.
So that's interesting. You're a staff at a school board. I'm staff at a
Yeah.
community college. I work for the records department.
Ooh.
And I've been working from home too for the past 3 weeks or so.
Well, I
But-
work with ESE kids.
Okay.
Which there's not, I mean, distance learning, there's really not a whole lot for me to get in there and do because
Yeah, exactly.
they've got their parents. So
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, I'll just focus on my kids learning.
Right on.
And
Yeah,
you guys
and,
can keep on paying me.
Right on.
That brings up a good question. So you work for a school board, you interact with kids on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Do they ever recognize you from the internet, or do they seek you out? Do they find out you have a YouTube channel?
No. I mean, I work with first and second graders.
Right.
I don't
okay.
think they're watching old RPG videos.
Their parents
Why
could
not?
be.
They're no.
They're looking for that one obscure Game Gear classic that they've been waiting for their whole lives. That's what they're doing.
No, most of the kids
At
just know
home when
me
they're
as
not at school.
most of the kids just know me as the like, oh, it's the cool shirt lady. So
Oh, that's cool.
so I wear like horrible cat shirts to work.
That's a pretty good reputation to have. So what would you do if, maybe not the kids, but like maybe if a parent or something was like, oh, hey, are you the one that does the RPG channel? Are you Daria?
No.
What would that do to you?
I think I would just be like, no, that's not me.
That's not you? Okay.
just lie. No, never heard of him.
I'm
Okay,
not
bye.
proud. I'm a coward.
I'm the same way. Nobody at my work knows what I do at all. No, nobody's ever asked. Nobody. I remember at an older job, I did tell the person I sat next to, because she was around the same age as me. So we were just shooting the shit, and then it just kind of naturally came up. I was like, oh yeah, I've got I review video games for mostly Super Nintendo stuff on YouTube. And her response to that was like, well, I write poetry. Like, she just completely like ignored. She had like no interest whatsoever.
She was trying
just
to relate. Like, I have a hobby too. Isn't that adorable?
I guess so, yeah. But there was like no follow-up question or anything like that. So,
She
like,
probably was racking her brain like, what's a Super Nintendo?
Yeah, probably. That could be the case, yeah. Like, I don't give a shit is basically what she was saying. So.
Oh,
Oh no,
awesome.
I'm terrible. Even when it like is contextually like relevant for me to like be like, yeah, I have a channel. I won't.
Have you ever been to any conventions or anything
yes.
like that? Like, have you gone like as a presenter
No.
or like as
I was almost invited to Bagfest, if that's a thing. Like, I was in talks with somebody, and then they're like, "Oh, we don't think it's gonna happen." It's like, "Oh, okay, I suck."
That's too bad.
So that's the closest I've ever come.
So you would have been like sitting at a table, selling T-shirts, giving out stickers, and like having people come up to you. How would that make you feel?
Probably really uncomfortable.
I can relate very much to that. I hate crowds. I hate like that environment. But like I was talking about in I think it was episode 2. I guess is it MagFest, Travis?
Yeah.
That has like the world's or the United States' largest arcade or something like that.
I could have made that up. I was very drunk, but it seems believable when you're in there. You're like, that could be true. It's pretty big.
It sounded awesome to drunk me. So I would make an exception for something like that, as long as they had like some crazy, weird, obscure arcade cabinets, like something from Data East or like, some crazy fighting game I've never seen before or something like that. But as far as like actually going to a convention and being like the hello, how are you type and like putting a big fake smile on my face, I'm actually terrified. Like that's not me. I can't do that.
No.
Yeah. All right. So we're in the same boat there.
We're both cowards.
We're both
two scared Alexes.
Yes. So one thing I really like about your channel is that you have like the most laid back demeanor. It's like the most super chill, like, yeah, here's this game and it's pretty sweet, Like it's like you just, as Bob Ross says, you sit back with your tall glass of iced tea and just watch for a little while and listen, and it's just, that's what I feel like doing. It's like super duper chill. So is that just you, or do you put like thought into making it chill, or does it just come out that way?
I guess it's just me. Like, I don't have much of a like online persona. That's pretty much
right,
just
exactly.
me.
Yeah, you're not doing a character.
No, and I do prepare. Like, I prepare my videos. I write a script, and I'm very much conscious about what I'm saying and how I'm saying it. But it's still like, that's just kind of my style, I guess.
Sure, yeah.
So, yeah.
Right on. I can dig it. And your style also includes your thumbnails, too, which I really like. And you do those, like, how do you make those? Do you draw on a tablet? Do you sketch something and
Oh, no,
and
those are all... So, my thumbnails are all made the moment after I've uploaded a video. There's not really any thought process before I do them. I hit the Googles and Google search for official artwork.
You've drawn your own stuff, though, haven't you?
Not not really, not for thumbnails.
Oh, okay. I thought you.
I
could have swore you have.
I might fill in if the image needs it, like if
Okay.
like there's an arm missing because of the way the page was cropped, but I really want that arm to be in there. I'll go in and draw it in and fill in the colors.
That's so funny because that's such an oddly specific thing, but I can relate so closely to what you're referring to.
Well, you need that composition, and it's like, shit, this image was used in a magazine, and they cut the page, and
Yeah.
I need it to stretch over here. So
just with this past video I did for Alien Storm on Sega Genesis, I tried to use the cover art for that, and it was like the stupid like Sega logo was in the way, and I had to like, kind of like rubber stamp it out of there, and it always looks so bad. And I'm just like, well, it's a freaking thumbnail, who cares? And I kind of smudge it a little bit.
You're hurting my soul here. Because I can rubber stamp it to where you cannot tell that is.
Okay. See, much respect for that.
When I'm done with a thumbnail, you never know I even touched it. Like,
I can't do that. I get so mad because I'm like, stupid freaking Sega. We have to have these awkward.
I mean, I do have
covers.
the benefit of 4 years of art school, and I have done.
Oh, see, there you go. I think that's why I thought you did your own, because you may have mentioned that before, like on a live stream or something like that.
I might have.
Okay, right on.
Yeah, but yeah, I used to do collage art, which is pretty much all the same thing, taking found images and repositioning them and filling in with other elements and changing like the context of which you now view it and all that stuff. So it's like, oh, I can directly relate this to thumbnail making, which is like the quick collages done in an hour, so.
Sure.
And I have just as much fun doing the art elements of my page as I do making the videos.
Yeah, I was going to ask if, when you started the channel a few years back, 4 or 5 years ago, were there any projects that predicated that artistically? Like, I know you said you went to art school. Were there any artistic things that you were into prior to that, or even currently, that we're not maybe aware of?
Well, I jump spastically between hobbies. I'm amazed I've stuck with the YouTube as long as I have, to be honest. Although right now I'm kind of on a bit of a hiatus. I've had a video like in the making for like 3 months that I really need to get back to.
Oh, right.
But I guess I do a lot of, well, not even a lot of, I do some like model painting, like gaming miniatures, I guess. I'm pretty good at that.
And you give those away as Patreon rewards occasionally, right?
I made some, you're right, I didn't even think of that. I made some clay, like slimes, kind of like Dragon Quest inspired. They're simple, but I sculpted them and I painted them. That's not quite the same as like the gaming miniatures, but yeah, in a way.
Right on. So, all right, getting back to the videos, do you have, like, how long does it take you to, because that's kind of why, it's the one thing the three of us have in common. We all take, the time to make these videos. Do you have like favorite parts, least favorite parts of making them? How long does it take you to make them? Like, what's that like for you?
Okay, so I can definitely, my favorite part is writing.
That's your favorite part?
That is. I love to write, and I can whip out a script. If I'm in the like flow of writing, I can whip one out in an evening.
Yeah. I guess if it's a game you like, then that makes it a lot easier.
Or even a game you hate, just a game you feel you have strong emotions for, one way or the other.
I guess, yeah, that's a good point, because I have some pretty strong emotions towards Draken, and that was a pretty fun one to write, because it's like such a goofy-ass game. So, yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, my similar would be like Axe Battler. Like, it's so terrible, but I was like felt so strongly about tearing it apart. That's
the Game Gear game, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Yeah, I think I mentioned this in a previous episode, too, in that I think I like writing the most, not just because, like, I write very sterile, boring things for a living, and that's my opportunity to step outside of that and add a flavor of creativity, but also I can think about that outside of playing the game or being at my computer editing. I could be in the shower thinking about things to say about it. Like, I'm kind of always forming a script for a game. I don't have to actually be at the computer typing with my fingers. So it's always like sort of an ongoing development for that part. I think that might be
Mhm.
why I like it, is because I'm not confined to my computer or a controller to do that part.
Right.
For me, writing is like the hardest because it's just lonely. Like it's just you at a computer and it's a blank screen, and it's like, okay, I got all these notes, and it's like, how do I even start?
Notes. Who keeps notes?
Me, I do. How do I make this into a thing? And it's like, oh god, it's and I slave over every word, and yeah, I don't really like writing, especially after I've been at this almost 7 years now. Writing is
Interesting.
bleh. But as far like audio editing and editing the footage and all that, that's like just busy work. Like that's like super easy.
I
But for you,
dread editing audio.
yeah, for you it's different though because you put a lot of stuff in your videos. Like I'd imagine the sheer amount of work it takes just to make one video for you. Like the Final Fantasy Adventure video on your channel, for example, takes like footage from like 4 or 5 different games. You've got footage from films in there.
Oh,
Like,
I love
so
when I can add movie. Like if I can
Yeah.
add a movie tie-in to a video is just like chef's kiss. Like that's what I love to do. If I can find a way to make it even remotely relate.
Oh, that Snatcher video is a work of art. It's crazy good.
Yeah,
For that
there's
reason.
like a ton of movie stuff in that.
Like, that opened my eyes to that game in so many ways.
One of my favorite videos to do was, and nobody watched it, was the NES Escape video.
Hmm.
It was a homebrew game that was like an escape room. But that one I had a lot of fun throwing in just like horror movie references and
Oh, like Saw and stuff?
yeah, yeah,
Of
definitely
course.
Saw.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
gotta look that up. It looks like that sounds fun.
Have you seen every Saw movie?
No.
When did you stop?
One.
Oh, really?
man.
Okay.
You know what? I read the premise when the first movie was coming out. I'm like, oh, this sounds so good, and I love Carrie Elwes, and
Oh, yeah.
this movie sounds really fucked up, and I went to go see it, and it was like, well, all the horror stuff was great, but goddamn, those cops were stupid, and it just annoyed the fuck out of me. Wait, we're okay to curse on this podcast, right?
Yeah,
We
we're
are now,
fine.
yeah.
It's fine. Yeah, don't worry about
I
it.
probably should have checked before. I might have even
No,
checked.
you're
No, it's all
fine.
good.
Okay.
It's called DrunkFriend, I think.
Yeah,
People, yeah.
I mean, it's gonna slip out every once in a while.
Well,
My
drinking,
girlfriend-
that's all fine, but as soon as you break the language barrier off,
You're kicked
yep,
off.
yep, yeah, you
Banned
fucked
for
up.
life.
That's just
My
too
girlfriend
adult.
Pearl has seen all the Saw movies. I think it was like was it last summer or 2 summers ago? She was like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna watch every Saw movie.
Wow.
But by the time she got, how many are they up to? Like 8?
There's a lot.
There's a
She was
ridiculous
like-
amount.
She was like, well, that wasn't as bad as the last one, I guess, but it's still pretty friggin' terrible. Like,
I've seen bits and pieces of the other ones because my
Yeah.
husband's watched them all, but I'm just like, and I love horror movies. Like that's my favorite genre, and I was just like, no.
yeah, I'm interested in like I'm able to detach, and I'm interested in what kind of like effects they're doing. Like oh wow, that's a lot of latex, or like I wonder what they use for blood that doesn't look like normal movie blood and stuff.
Oh,
like
I
that.
love going back and watching like terrible '80s horror movies just for
Oh,
like
it's
the
the
practical
best.
effects, and it's like, oh, I wish they still made stuff like this. This
The
is-
Evil Dead movies are like the perfect movies to
Yeah.
go back and watch for effects. They're so like crafty and
Well, and that's not
Interesting.
fair because those are also just like, I mean, Bruce Campbell just makes them fun,
oh for sure.
and Sam Raimi's actually a good director, so that's
yeah,
you're really looking at top tier the '80s horror there.
yeah, it's a little unfair, I suppose.
Yeah.
If you have an Amazon Prime account, it is chocked full of just obscure, well, I would say obscure to semi-popular 80s horror.
Yeah.
It's all great. Yeah, you can binge that stuff. And they're all short too. They're usually less than an hour and a half most of the time.
Yeah, they definitely aren't very long. We were making use of the Discord sharing streaming features and watching the latest movie we watched was Night of the Demons,
Nice.
which that had some interesting effects in it.
What happens in that one?
A bunch of it's Halloween and a bunch of drunk college kids decide to go to
Oh,
a
there you
party
go.
at a
Yep.
house,
Uh-huh.
and then
Yep.
very quickly it descends into demons have started possessing everyone, and they're just it's just an excuse to eat people and have some blood and
Fun.
panty shots. There was a lot of panties for some reason.
It's always horny teenagers that get themselves in these
Yes.
situations every time.
The 80s and their panties, I swear. Going back to the Porky's movies and all that
They
nonsense.
really knew how to fetishize underwear.
That's ridiculous.
The 80s and their panties. That's my favorite line of this podcast so far. So, Daria, back to what we're here for, talking about your channel. and
Oh,
what
right,
you do.
YouTube. Is
Yeah.
that what we're here for?
We were
Oh.
originally, yeah. It's what we told
Oh,
people.
okay.
So it has been a while since you put out a video, and
3 months.
It's
Yeah.
been a few months. There's been some hiatuses in between. How do you sort of cope with that? Like, do you feel like you have an audience to respond to? Like, I need to be there for them, or is it just you're at peace with whenever I feel like it?
No disrespect to my audience. I do know that when I do release something, they will be there. They're not leaving, and I love them for it. Mostly because I can be a bit flaky with releases. I've come to realize that I have ADHD, and when I can actually like get my brain to focus on any one task and see it through to completion is like rare moments of clarity. So I'll go through like a spurt of a few months while I'll pop out like 3 or 4 videos, and then I'll disappear for a while, and then I'll come back, recharge, like let's put out some videos. And
Right on.
they're always there. Like people are always like, "Oh, thank God you didn't die." I'm like, "No, I'm still here."
I was going to say that's one of the fun things about your channel is that it kind of started as just being review, but that at some point you established that, hey, it's going to be different types of vlogs, and maybe I'll go to like a game store and that kind of thing. So no one's ever really surprised or I guess taken aback by the type of content you might give them. So at least there's that.
Right, I have fun with it. There's always
Yeah.
something like I've put up children's books. Like I'm gonna read this
Mhm.
Zelda book. Like why not? I think at one point I temporarily changed my channel to like Daria plays whatever the fuck she wants to. I changed it back. I was like, maybe not.
Yeah, maybe not. So speaking of having fun with it, you often hilariously antagonize certain commenters that leave you rude comments, way more than other YouTubers that I notice. Is that something that you just like? Is that just your nature to just like fight back?
Yes,
Or
I am by
okay.
nature a bitch. I think I don't know if Travis remembers, but for a while, I think we both frequented Nintendo Age at the same time,
Yeah.
and I was not shy of just like, oh, you're a jackass. I'm now going to like bait and troll you.
Yeah.
And that was part of my personality long before YouTube came along, and now it's just given me a new medium for it.
And certainly to defend you, most of the time you were not in the wrong. There were when
Oh,
it
no,
was, when it was
no.
Nintendo
I-
Age, yeah, it was not
I'm
great.
a very chill person until someone like, and it's not even me. Like, it's not that you've done something to upset me. I really don't care. But I do feel strongly, like if I've made friends with someone and I feel someone's treating them unfairly, that's usually when I jump in. I'm like, oh no, we're not having this. You're being stupid.
Right.
But
You're a good online friend to have. That's why I'm on Daria's good side all the time.
Can I just-
he's too scared to
can I
get
just-
the bad side.
Damn right.
Can I just read a comment I just got an hour ago? I'm gonna read it word for word.
Yes.
And it says it's on my I don't know why they picked this video, but it's on the Is Ultimate Fighter Worth Playing Today? That video came out like a month ago. And it's a comment from Master Basin 123.
Already a good name. You
That's
know
a pretty
a
sweet
winner.
name. That's a good name.
And this comment says, and I'm going to leave this up, so if you want to seek it out, anybody listening, it's right here. The comment says, how, why, unsure exactly how it occurred. Maybe I adapted and mutated like, quote unquote, this virus. But I feel these decisions are best left to the suits in Washington. Yet my video game choices and YouTube uploads appear to mimic your sexy and sweaty, just the way I like it, commentique big $ saliva video game
What?
and sweatiness aside. Stay healthy and thanks for the sick vids, y'all. And he spells sick with a $.
Huh.
That was 1 hour ago.
I think he has a crush on you.
And COVID.
What the hell kind of comment is that?
That's
Horny
crazy.
comment. That is a very horny comment.
The most ridiculous comments. Oh, let me pull up another one from earlier that made me laugh. And you can't help but laugh. Like, I understand when somebody kind of loses it and flips out over some of the really ugly things that people say. Like, some people just suck.
Mm-hmm.
Like, but there's only so much like time you can invest because it really does. That's all it does is just take time from you. And take emotional and mental energy from you, and it's just not worth it. It's not worth the price it's asking for.
I definitely don't comment on as many.
Yeah.
I don't reply to as many comments as I used to. For that reason, it just is a time sink.
So I just love the contrast here. This comment is on the 13 best Super Nintendo obscure hidden gems video. The username is My Beautiful and Amazing Princess, and it's a picture of like this, like a stock image of this girl. And it says, "You're so stupid and obnoxious when you say that shit about 90s mascots. So what? There were multiple of them. Show respect for them games instead, an obnoxious ass. The disgusting, bored, mocking tone in your voice fills me with rage." And I responded
dare you
with,
insult those old games?
yeah, and I responded with, "Good. I'm happy it makes you filled with rage."
That was my goal.
Ride on that
Jeez.
adrenaline rush of anger for 5 seconds, and I hope it carries you through the next 5 minutes. Good for you. Yeah, we get some weird freaking comments.
Oh, I love following. In your Discord, literally the only channel that I follow is your mean comments channel. Or comment of the day. Yeah.
Comment of the day.
That's the only one I bother to read. Like, I'm sure you have a very nice community. You seem to have some nice people in there. And it's no, just give me the dirt. That's all I want to read.
Not really.
And it'll be months before I'll comment in between.
Yeah. No, I love getting these comments because they're so dumb. They're so just freaking stupid. And they're so serious about something so meaningless, I think. And that's another thing, getting back to your channel, that I think it goes back to that relaxed vibe. It's clear that you don't take video games all that seriously.
Oh, of course not.
Yeah, because you have like real priorities in your life and like real responsibilities. So, and I think that comes through in your videos too. It's relaxed. It's like, oh, this is just a hobby. Whereas this is more than just a hobby for some people. And I don't mean like that they're developing and programming games.
No. There are people who base their entire like self-identity around what games they like, how much they like them, how much they play them, and it's like,
yeah,
what a small existence.
Yeah, and it's up to them to allow and grant permission to others if it's okay for them to like something as well. Otherwise known as gatekeeping.
Yeah. Well, also they feel it. So, like, if you insult the game, they have embedded so much of themselves into identifying with this product
right,
that insulting it is, by extension, insulting them. And then they like, how dare you? It's like, dude, it's okay. And it was like one thing one of the videos I did, which was Shining Force Refrain. I completely, like, I played the demo, completely tore it apart. I'm like, this is garbage. And these people would come in, like, yelling at me. And I'm like, look, it's okay to like trash games. If you enjoy it, have fun. But the game is objectively trash. And that's fine.
Yeah. That's what I got a little bit of that with the Draken video, and some people are just like really angry, and it's like, just have like, are you really that like emotionally dense? Where it's possible to have
zero emotional intelligence that's the short of it.
It's really not possible for these people to have like two thoughts in their head at the same time. Like, oh, I liked it as a kid, but playing it now, it's not so much fun. Like, that's not a possibility.
I wonder how many of them have even gone back.
Yeah.
Like, are they just holding on so tightly to like childhood memories that have they ever gone back and evaluated them?
Well, it's like you said. It's if you're insulting the game, you're insulting them.
Yeah.
And it's like, no, I don't really care about you.
I was like, I don't even know you. Like,
yeah, I don't want to get to know you if that's
no.
Gonna...
The little exposure I've had to you has solidified it. Don't want to know you. And your mother's a whore.
Yeah. You have failed your interview. Oh, crap. Oh, breaking news. Breaking news. I'm breaking it right now
boy.
on the podcast.
Oh,
Well, kind of. We're not live.
Well, we're not live, but that's, you know what? That's a good point.
That's a really good point.
I didn't even think of that. I'm
I didn't either. Very stupid.
deep into the maker's mark here. I just got an email from Amazon saying we now have a delivery estimate for your Amazon order of Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Oh.
We're going to be getting it on Tuesday, April 14th. And maybe my girlfriend in the other room is listening and she can hear that. Maybe not. I don't know. But yeah, I want to have her on to, like, Final Fantasy VII is like her favorite thing in the world out of like anything that's ever existed. So she's like a super fan. She's been watching videos and looking at screenshots for like 2 months now, so it's just absurd. So she's beyond excited for this.
That's awesome. I wish a video game could make me that happy these days.
I know, right?
But that's cool. That actually begs the question, Daria. You know, you're an RPG aficionado, and you mentioned in your videos. Forgive me, but like, what is your favorite? I guess maybe besides Shining Force, what is your favorite RPG? I just remembered what it was.
You really just took the wind out of my sails there. Like, maybe you've said it before, but oh yeah, that one game that is your favorite.
Yeah, I remembered halfway through that sentence. I was like, no, I do know which one it is, actually.
Well, all right. Besides my darling baby, Shining Force, I would say I'm, and this is probably purely nostalgia, but I have a very soft spot for Breath of Fire 3.
Oh, yeah,
That's
I just played
probably-
that last year.
What did you think? Because I haven't gone back and tried it again. So
I love how the Breath of Fire series just keeps getting better, like until it gets to like 5, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, the first one is fun, but it's definitely flawed.
Oh,
The second
yeah.
the second one is really ambitious. It tries some really cool things. It's got a really cool story, but it's still kind of wonky and janky in certain ways, especially with the translation. The third game, it's like the series like crescendo almost. Like it's like, all right, finally, Breath of Fire got its shit together, and it's
Yeah,
it
they
pulled
really
everything
perfected
together.
like everything they were building. Because 2 is very much like fleshing out the first game, and I think 3 even more so. They took everything that was like a good idea in number 2 and like
yeah.
made it like more. Like the story has a better like arc. It's more emotional. There's bigger risks. There's bigger reward.
And there's
and
plenty
then-
of fire, of course.
Oh yes, there's lots of
House
fire. You got to have
Yeah.
your fire and your breaths.
Yeah.
Of course.
Oh yeah, yeah.
But
Lots of
then I
breathing.
think, and I really think like Capcom even realized like 3 was where it peaked, that formula, and then 4 is when they start to change it up and play with it. Now we're gonna give it like an Eastern flair, and it's got an alternate world. And like 4 was the black sheep until Dragon Quarter came along,
Yeah.
and now everyone's like, no, 4 was actually really good, and it was like it was an amazing game. But then there was like, oh no, this is. And then they put out that mobile game, and I think people then really started to look at Dragon Quarter and go, you know what, that wasn't so bad either.
Right, yeah.
So,
And that's interesting because 3 at the time was seen as like, well, this is just, you know, like we already have this with like Dragon Warrior 7 and, you know, other games have done this better. And then meanwhile, like there's Final Fantasy 7, there's like, what do you call it? Xenogears. There's like all these other
Square.
RPGs.
You had Square. You had all these
Square.
other companies, and then you had the Square stuff.
They felt like, oh, they're the future, and they're doing stuff that's like way out there. And while Breath of Fire 3 felt like, you know, like kind of like a buffed up Super Nintendo game almost.
But that's what made it amazing.
But that's what I really like about
Yeah.
it. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, I was the same. Like I hadn't at this point when I played Breath of Fire 3, I had not played Super Nintendo, besides like Super Mario World.
Like
Or
Mario.
All Stars. Like that was my experience because I had friends who had a Super Nintendo, and that was my experience was Mario All Stars.
Yeah. Right on.
So I went straight from Genesis to PlayStation, and Breath of Fire 3 was the first game that I was exposed to.
Wow.
Because I had I went to stay with my brother for the summer in Minnesota, and he had a PlayStation. He took me to Funko, and he's like, "You can rent something."
Was it Funko in West St. Paul?
It could have been. No, maybe. I don't know.
On
I don't
Robert-
know where it was. He was living in
on Robert
Minneapolis at the
Street?
time, so I don't know.
No, that would have been probably Uptown.
Maybe.
So, yeah, that's where I'm from. So
Yeah.
You actually did a video in like my hometown, which is like the weirdest thing ever.
That has been really
Crazy.
trippy.
That store that you went to used to be a grocery store called Nolan's.
Really?
And my brother's friend from high school worked there as like a stock boy. And yeah, it's hilarious. It's like you're walking around there.
I'm hoping when all this pandemic shit is over that the store is still there.
It is, but it's not. They don't have video games anymore, like at all. It's all tabletop gaming now.
Seriously?
Yeah, and like it's when I went there.
You are talking about Level Up.
Yeah, Level Up. And,
Okay, I
South
forgot
St.
I
Paul.
even made that video. I was thinking of Heroic Games.
Oh no, I don't even know what that is.
It's a little store in Minneapolis. I was really like, God, that was such a tiny
Oh,
little
no.
storefront. How'd they fit a grocery store in there? But Level Up makes way more sense.
Yeah, Level Up was Nolan's. I
Yeah,
remember.
someone told me that they didn't have video games, and I was really
Yeah,
sad.
no, it's they have like I think honestly the best game they have there is like NHL '97 for Sega
Yeah, when I
Genesis
had
or
gone in, they
something.
just got like a TurboGrafx. They wanted $1,000 for it, and I was like,
Jesus.
What?
this is a cool. Yeah, it was in the box, but I was like, your shit's expensive.
That's stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Wow.
that might be why they don't have the video games anymore.
Could be.
They're
Yeah.
pretty
Possibly.
pricey.
No, it was mostly like miniatures and like
Well,
painting
they had that
accessories.
stuff there too.
Yeah,
Which is
that's
one thing I
pretty much
liked
all
about it
is
because it's
now.
like both my interests
Yeah,
in one roof.
right on. What were we talking about?
Breath of Fire, but
So you know what's kind of funny and barely relevant? Small world, and you guys don't remember this, but late November 2016, and I kind of just had really bad deja vu, and you can Google tweets. I don't know. You can look up old tweets. I remember having this conversation or hearing you guys talk about Breath of Fire before referencing it, and I had typed, "I'll just consult the expert. Hey, at SNESdrunk, Lufia and the Fortress of Doom or Breath of Fire? #SNES." And you responded, I liked Lufia better, personally. Breath of Fire is kind of frustrating with the bad translation and weird abbreviations for items. And then Detective Daria, Daria plays, she responds, neither. Skip both and jump straight to Lufia, or actually you say Lucia, and Breath of Fire 2.
oh, did I mistype it?
Yeah, then you responded after that, Lufia, stupid phone. And then SNESdrunk says, yeah, otherwise, yes, Daria Plays is right. Lufia 2 is friggin' great. And I said, thanks, gang. And who would have thought? 4 years later, right here, talking all about the same shit again.
How did you find that? You can Google old tweets? God, I feel like I'm 80 years old right now.
I
Like,
literally just found
what?
out. I'm pretty
I
excited
love how
about
that story is about me butting into somebody else's conversation to be like, actually, no.
Actually,
You're wrong.
You are wrong.
it. To be fair,
How dare you recommend a game?
to make this circle of connections smaller, I did interview both of you for a Collect Call podcast years ago. It was
You did.
I was talking to you about your collections, and you were both on there at different times, obviously. And all 32 people that were into that niche topic of video game collecting, they loved it. They still talk about it.
Well, that was when SNES was like, hey, I'm going to do this podcast with, Travis. I was like, oh, yeah, I'll do that again. That was fun.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of neat that we had cross paths prior to being drunk tonight during a pandemic talking about Breath of Fire. I'm just saying it's
It was destiny.
It's destiny,
It's a small retro gaming world.
exactly. Yes.
I guess it kind of is, huh?
Yeah.
It's very niche. How do you say that word?
I
Niche?
say
It's
niche. Niche.
Yeah. See, I've been yelled at by commenters for saying it both ways. I've said niche.
Well, the thing
like,
is, people who
"Ugh."
are wrong are always very passionately wrong. You're
Oh,
not
they're-
going to
yeah, they're
make
very-
them happy.
They're very passionate about being wrong. Yeah, that's
Especially,
a good way to put it.
you have a bigger channel too, so you're going to draw in just that. You're going to get that ratio of just the more popular you are, the louder
gonna
your
get-
wrong people are.
I'm gonna get Master Basin 1, 2, 3.
Now I looked it
telling
up.
me
I looked at that comment. That's Master
Did you
Bassin.
see it?
That's Master Bassin. That man's a
or
fisherman.
Bassin. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
he's
Oh, I think of bass
He's
guitar,
a
like
shallow
bass guitar.
basin.
Yeah, shallow basin. Yeah, I don't know.
I like to think he's a fisherman, and instead of master baiting the hook, bass. I don't know. I made the connection that way. You could be right though. Maybe he's just a lunatic. But
See, my
Who
bad
knows?
comments at my size usually stem either I've had a video that has done insane numbers and then I get like a new crowd of angry people. Always fun. Or I get the same old like just misogynistic assholes are like, there's a woman on the internet and I'm gonna tell her what I think. And it's like, really, dude?
No. They don't dare say the word woman. They say female.
Yes.
Oh, right.
Yes.
Yeah.
They're afraid of words like woman and vagina and all that sort of stuff. They're incapable of using those words.
It's true.
Female. So yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's really sad.
I had one guy that just wouldn't go away, and he was commenting on every video, and it was always fun. Like I at one point legit had him crying, but I finally just had to mute him. I'm like, no, you are a time sink.
I know, right? It's almost like a sunk cost at that point.
Yeah.
Like, I've spent too much time on you. It's time for you to go away. Like, there's no getting through to this person.
Yeah, I was stuck in a small loop of like MGTOW supporters coming to comment on my videos, and they were like and you could tell they were like in one community together. It's like I've just pissed off some like random corner of the internet, and now they're all gonna come find me.
You could probably Google your name, and this weird forum will come up, and just all these
It'll be
posts
somewhere
about
on
you.
Reddit.
Yeah, I'll probably, yeah.
Yeah, there's a Reddit community out there somewhere that's like shaking their fist and ruining the day I was born.
Yeah. I guess we should get to some community Q&A questions.
Yeah, let's do it.
I'll start with our friend Burger Champ, the champion of burgers.
Current champion. Let's just say that.
Current champion.
How do you become a burger champ?
Well, according to him, he answered this for us,
Did
actually.
he? Oh.
I think, I wish I could see where he actually commented that. I think it was on my Patreon or something. But wasn't it like sometime in high school, him and a group of friends just went to see how many burgers they could eat in an hour or something like that, and he ended up eating more than anybody else?
Yeah, and the number I think was kind of ridiculous.
See, in high school, I could have been the hot dog champ, but that has way different connotations now.
It does.
So I can't really.
It does.
I
And
would
also
not
that-
do well to try to.
You could have a video highlighting that if you want. I think that's
Yeah,
views.
no.
Yeah, no. So he asks, what game villain would you like to see as the protagonist of their own game? Kind of like the Shovel Knight
Galleon.
downloadable content. Who's that?
Galleon. Lunar.
From Lunar. Okay.
Lunar, yeah.
And what kind of game would that be? Like, what genre would that be? Would he have his own RPG?
Oh, it'd be an RPG. What I really want to see is I want someone, I don't care who the fuck it is at this point, I want somebody to do Lunar 3, and it's the Galleon and Dine story. Like where
that would be awesome.
Yeah, and it's this
why hasn't
torrid
anybody done that
It's
yet?
this torrid gay love affair where Galleon is like obviously in love with Dine, but he's like, no, I have to the goddess Athena, and he gives himself to her, and then he like it fucking breaks Galleon. He becomes the villain. Like that's the story, and it's laid out. Like it's all there if you play the other games. It's like, why hasn't anyone made this story?
Wow.
That's like straight. What you came up with there it reminds me of the game Live Alive for Super Famicom. It's an RPG where the ending is a little bit like that, where the hero lives to become the villain because everything goes wrong for him. He gets blamed for everything, and he just snaps. And then
Is that what that game's about?
It's really dark. It eventually gets to that. I'm sorry, I just spoiled Live Alive for a lot of people.
I think you just you're the first person to ever sell me on it. Like for years, you've been like, oh, I love Live Alive, or Live a Live, or whatever.
I'm gonna
the hell
have
you
to
wanna call
edit in
it.
a spoiler. I gotta edit in a spoiler alert after the fact.
People
Post
are gonna be
production.
yelling at you.
Post to the rescue.
I
now,
haven't
so.
played this 30-year-old game. How dare you reveal the plot to me now?
It's got an awesome ending though. It's totally out of nowhere, but yeah. Yeah, no, that's a great answer. Like, why hasn't anybody made Lunar 3, like, just in general? Like, that needs to happen.
Well,
like, come on, people.
I mean, Game Arts didn't make it because Studio Alex fell apart.
Yeah, but where's, like, the fan community to, like,
I don't know.
make
Z-Boy Games
something?
was sniffing around like, hey, I think they even asked, like, would you be interested in continuing the Lunar series? I'm like, yes, but I don't know.
Trav, what's your answer?
I think Ridley would be cool. Maybe in a platformer. I kind of think
I never would have thought of that.
Yeah, I kind of think back to like that Genesis Jurassic Park where you can be the raptor, but maybe make it better, obviously a lot better, and make it.
I'm
make
thinking
it
like Demon's Crest.
that'd be awesome. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, good call.
That's a good idea. I would play that. I don't even know. I don't even have an answer
I
for
would
this.
watch
I guess
somebody else play that.
yeah. I guess a Magneto game would be cool. Just because I've always really liked Magneto's powers of being able to like just
I want to
warp
wait.
everything.
A Zelda like puzzle game where you're Magneto, but everything's about using
long as it's
magnetism
done-
to solve the puzzles.
As long as it's done in the style of like Link's Awakening remake, yeah.
Yes.
And it's like cute little Magneto solving puzzles. That would be awesome.
Nice. Okay. We have another one here from Burger Champ, and I will go ahead and say once again, the current champion of burgers. Now, for those of you that don't know, he's a huge supporter. He's a huge supporter, and I mean, he's
Huge
big
supporter.
and big.
The biggest supporter.
I mean, he's got to be. He's a Burger Champ. But he says that he's, he challenged me. We sort of had a challenge going on there on your Patreon chat, and I found out that I kind of live close to him. And so we said, okay, so after this pandemic is over with, hopefully it is, we're going to meet halfway, and we're going to throw down. We're going to have a burger eating championship, and I'm going to see if I can unseat Burger Champ, become the new Burger Champ. So that's just, we're going to meet up to meet down.
Oh, that sounds like fun. I wanna eat burgers.
You've already got the poster made.
Yeah.
That's the slogan on the bottom of the poster.
Yeah.
A meet up to meet down.
That's right.
On pay-per-view.
I can't wait. It'll be the only thing I've ever won if I win. If not, I'll just get a lot of
Oh
heartburn.
my god. You're going to I'm going to have to like dude, I will do whatever I can to like okay, we need audio. if video is possible, that would be amazing.
Yeah, we're going to do it.
I want to do
can make your
play-by-play.
thumbnail.
Oh, and Daria, oh my god, that'd be the best thumbnail.
You could make the thumbnail. Oh my god, that's gonna be amazing. But
Anyway, so his
what is
question,
oh yeah, he has a question.
Oh, right.
That's right.
He had something to say.
and it's just for me, it's for Travis. It's how many burgers do you think you could eat in an hour? And I'm going to say it's going to depend on the burger. There are.
How big
You
are
know.
these burgers?
I see. I don't know.
What are the toppings?
Again, I am not sure. It's going to
Excellent
depend.
questions.
I think there's some things that we need to figure
There
out.
are variables that you need to.
Yeah. So and
The bread, like, are these like broche buns,
Yeah.
or are these like potato buns? Because potato buns will fill you up real.
I got
real
some
Oh, yeah.
folded flat like bread that I've been using instead of buns that
Oh yeah.
you could
There you go.
really
that's that
cut
pandemic
down
life.
on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they were expensive, and I was buying them before the pandemic. So
Smart. That's smart.
these are
Um,
bougie bread.
But I'm saying, like, if he's talking like Five Guys or Red Robin, I mean, maybe not many. Those are big. Those are
Oof.
big burgers. Maybe.
Yeah, those are
Greasy.
substantial.
Yeah, maybe 4 at most. And I say at most because there's probably going to be a paramedic involved. But if we're talking like some just McDonald's, some
White
McDonald's
Castle.
burgers,
How many little White Castle
White
sliders?
Castle.
Oh,
can
you guys should do
swallow?
White Castle.
Oh my God,
That'd
yeah.
be-
just to get the numbers
You
up.
guys should just do
Yeah,
sliders
just so
at
it
White
sounds more
Castle.
impressive. Like
Yeah.
we ate 400 White Castle.
Yeah, like a scoreboard.
Yeah, my wife's gonna love this. I can't wait to tell her about it. She's gonna be excited. But it's on Burger Champ. I'm gonna meet you halfway
that's-
at the closest place that sells little bitty burgers, and
That's tremendous.
we're gonna stimulate the economy.
Oh, that's great. Next, we have okay. I like what this guy did. He changed his Twitter handle to his YouTube page because I'm just taking down like questions. First, I took questions from Patreon. I only got 2, and then second,
Oh, so you shout it out when you read his name.
Yeah.
exactly
Guerrilla
So his-
marketing. This guy's smart. He's going places.
This guy's real smart.
Yeah.
His handle is youtube.com/theretrolectors. I think he's going for retro collectors, but it
Lectors?
sounds like
Hannibal Lecter?
yeah, it sounds like
Like
retro
we're gonna
Hannibal
eat your
Lecters.
face over a nice
Yeah.
like Chianti
Chi-
and then
Yeah. Some fava beans.
yeah,
Fava
and then
beans.
talk about
Yeah.
some Super Mario.
I kind of like that as a gimmick, though. If we're being serious.
Why didn't Secret of the Lambs? Why didn't Silence of the Lambs ever get a?
There's a spin-off, The Secret of Lambs.
Daria would review that RPG in a heartbeat.
I would.
Only if it was for Sega Genesis. Though.
That's not true.
Secret of the Lambs.
It could
where you
be for
play as,
NES.
it's like a
Nobody'd
La
watch
Place
it.
No Ma thing. You play as Clarice and stumble into the action.
Sounds like an
he
RPG
asks-
Maker game.
He asks, what has been the most difficult part of YouTube? Motivation is one, but what other obstacles have you faced? Go ahead, Daria.
Oh, I think I hearted this comment because I was like, yeah, this guy knows how hard motivation is. Oh, the biggest obstacle besides my motivation, which is like non-existent. I had a huge problem, like technical hurdles at the beginning, like learning how to do like audio that didn't sound like ass.
I remember you asked me long ago that, like, what do you do to make your voice sound better? And I was like, I mess with the EQ and I
Yeah, that
brighten
wasn't
up
helpful.
the mids. It wasn't?
Not really.
Oh. Well, that's what I do.
I don't know.
Oh.
I mean,
Try
thank
and
you for answering, but I'm just
Try and
saying.
sound like Travis when you do a voice. Try and sound like Vin Scully when you do your
I don't think I can do a deep enough. I don't know. I can't.
welcome to the... No, sorry.
I feel like I'm at a natural disadvantage with my feminine voice that a lot of people call me a man.
What?
What?
That's my go-to insult when people are like, I don't like this bitch. They're like, you're a man, aren't you? It's like, no, fucker.
What? That's so... What? That doesn't even make sense.
No.
Well, there you go. People are freaking...
Assholes
It's that
online.
adrenaline rush of anger.
Yeah.
Like, ooh, I'm going to get somebody angry. So what is the most difficult part of YouTube? Is it the guy that calls you a man?
No.
No, it's never that guy.
That guy's never hard.
No, that guy's the easiest part of YouTube.
Like I said, I struggled a lot with just really the audio. I'm like cursed with getting with getting good sound. Like I'll nail it for like one video. I'll be like, yeah, I know what I'm doing now. I sound professional, and then the next video I sound like total ass. It's like I lost it.
Oh. You sound good tonight. I think the audio sounds good. So
The audio sounds totally fine. Yeah.
you figured out something.
You're nailing it tonight.
I've put enough money into this setup, and I think I finally got it tweaked.
Nice.
Nice.
This was like a $500 setup, I think.
Jeez.
Wow.
That's pretty cool, though.
Well, I went on a trip, and I thought I broke my Yeti. Which, if you don't know anything about microphones, that's probably a really funny sentence. But I thought it broke.
Sounds like a euphemism.
It does.
I thought it got banged around in the suitcase.
Still sounded like one.
I banged around my Yeti.
Oh, man.
Well, I went to use it, and it had this horrible buzz. I'm like, what the fuck? And I couldn't get it to go away. And apparently it was just my parents' fucking attic. I was freaking out. So I was talking to a friend of mine, Super Derek, who also reviews RPGs.
That guy's awesome.
Yeah, he's got way more subs than I do. I'm name dropping like really popular people. Nobody. But yeah,
Metal Jesus. No, just
he sat down with me in Discord and like walked me through, and he even pulled up like the Amazon links. Like, you're buying this. Here's the eBay auction you want. These are the cables you're gonna need. Because I'm like, I'm retarded. Just speak to me like I don't know what I'm doing.
Explain like I'm 5.
Yes, and he did an excellent job. And he even like there were nights when I had tweaked the wrong setting, and I'm just like in tears, and I'm on Discord. I'm like, help me! It sounds like ass. Man. And he's like, no, calm down. You're not stupid. So
that's cool that he helped you out, though. That's awesome.
Oh yeah, he's Derek's amazing.
Yeah, that's cool.
That guy's great.
He's got big hair, but not big head.
Nice.
I am still thinking of my answer, so go ahead, Trav.
For me, I guess time. Just finding the
That's
time.
a good answer.
Yeah.
I would change mine to time.
Like I had this idea I was going to have a Wednesday schedule, and I mean, it's no secret I emulated both you guys, like just in terms of like style and releasing, and I was like, a schedule's important. It's got to be important. People want to that's how you get
no
up the algorithm.
The schedule.
Not you with the schedule, you're right, but
no.
but with like style and content, and like I borrowed a lot of things from a lot of people, and the schedule was one thing I was like, all right, I got to have it. That's the important thing, and I kind of obsessed over it. I'm like, every Wednesday I'm going to have a video, and then at some point, and I do these videos like a few in advance. Like, I'm probably 4 or 5 weeks away from, like, if I made a video today, it would come out like 5 or 6 weeks from now. But I can still
right on.
I can still feel that creep, and like I can feel the pressure.
Oh, for sure. You feel like it's like the mail. It just keeps coming.
Yes.
Like you're always working on the next thing.
So do you
like,
have your
stops.
videos like when you post them? They'll post like this is going to come out in 2 weeks from now. Like
automatically, yeah. You can schedule on YouTube, yeah.
My God, you make enough content to do that?
I actually I could, but I don't schedule them because I have a spreadsheet that tells me when they should come out, but if I schedule them and make them private, then I can't have them on our little Patreon, which it's real small, but I can't
We could do them unlisted.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. There was something about like scheduling them that was making it funny, but I could just be dumb. I mean, I could just be a me thing. I have no idea.
Well, I have such like that that desire for instant gratification. As soon as that video is done, I'm like amped and excited, and I've put in like hours and hours into that editing, and I'm like, I need it now. Like, I need those comments to start rolling in. I'm posting this shit immediately. I don't care if it's 2 a.m.
That's actually a really good question for both of you. So I know SNESdrunk, you have a Patreon that you will post stuff to, and I don't know if you do that immediately when you're done or what, but that's a good way for you to get that initial feedback. Like if something's off, those folks will jump on it and be like, hey man, I don't know about this or whatever. I mean, they might do that, but that's what that's kind of there for you, right? That's your feedback system initially. Yeah. Do you have that, Daria?
I spaced out. What?
Sorry, I also talk fast because I get nervous. Do you have, like, when you're done with a video and before you make it go live to your 15,000 people, do you have anyone that sees it before that happens?
Do you have like a proofer?
Oh, well, I don't have a proofer, though I probably need one. What I will do is while I'm making that thumbnail and setting up the keywords and everything, I tweet it out and I'm like, hey, whoever's following me and is awake, you know, it's here it is.
So you tweet out like an unlisted link?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a neat idea.
That's kind of my bonus for following me on Twitter. You might get the early. You can watch the video before anybody else.
Oh, that's really smart.
I feel weird sending it to Patreon. Like I am so uncomfortable with like soliciting people for money. Yeah. My Patreon is so half-assed.
I still don't understand what I'm supposed to do on Patreon. That sounds like odd. It's super uncomfortable to even talk about. Like right now, I feel uncomfortable talking about it. Like
it is. We've been so like told like don't beg for money, don't like put yourself. It's like so like taboo to even mention.
Yeah,
it.
It's honest to God like a really strange thing because I was getting people like messaging me on YouTube like, hey, I would love to buy you a beer, but here's like $7. You know, like back when YouTube, this was years ago when they had their like donation system.
Their tip jar?
Their tip jar.
Yeah, they had a tip jar for a while.
And I used to get those. And so what I did when they discontinued that, I just was like, okay, well, I'll just set up a Patreon. And now it's really blown up and it's kind of embarrassing. And it makes me super self-conscious and it's very strange.
I set mine up originally because I got fired up one day to do the graphics. This is literally the reason I do anything. I'm like, ooh, this would be a fun project. So I made the header and I wrote it out as like this whole RPG adventure. Like it would have tiers and we'd do like a choose your own adventure thing. And as I got more money, I would write more like paragraphs.
Oh, that's fun.
Well, it was fun like the first 3 times I did it, and then I kind of like lost interest and got distracted, and then I never followed up on it.
Yep.
And I really, my heart goes out to anyone who supports me on Patreon because I'm terrible about sending shit out. I've got one poor guy that's like, I guess his slime got lost in the mail, and I need to send out another one, but then the pandemic hit.
Geez.
Oh no.
And I'm like, I'm not going to a post office.
Well, not now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. And then I've got like, I'm supposed to be sending postcards to people and they just keep giving me money. And it's like, I've sent it out once. So I'm just a horrible person. Do not follow me on Patreon.
Do you want us to cut this out?
I appreciate. No, you can keep it. At least I'm honest.
That's true. That is.
If you want to if you want to throw money at the flighty girl who will never follow up on anything, I am volunteering myself. But if you're looking for like another Etsy store, don't fucking give me money.
Oh yeah, back to youtube.com/the-retro-lectors question.
Yeah.
Oh, we had a
we
question.
want to make sure we plug that as many times as we can. What's the most difficult part of YouTube for me is I think Trav hit on it. It's time. It's really, really hard to balance between I've been with my girlfriend for almost 8 years now, and I've known her for almost 20 years total.
Damn.
Yeah, so she's like my better half, and always just one of those things where it's like I owe her, you know, the time, she deserves it and that sort of thing. And then there's my real job, which I work at a school. It's a normal 9 to 5, and that is pretty demanding. And then there's the thing is I really don't have any other hobbies. Like, I'll watch sports. I watch so much sports. I even watch golf. Like, that's how
Wow.
freaking boring I am.
That's when you're desperate for sports.
By the way, why can't we have golf right now with just like no fans?
True.
Like, it's unless they like hit the ball like closer than 6 feet from each other. But even then, you can just like wait for the other guy to like putt, and
You're not
Maybe
wrong
it's all the
there.
production. Maybe that's what's.
oh yeah, it's probably all the
dangerous.
camera
Yeah.
stuff. And
I mean, not that anyone
Yeah.
cares about the production crew, but
yeah, I guess not. Anyway, no, it's time, and I just now finished writing Tuesday's video. That's going to be posting on Tuesday.
Wow, you're that
well,
close
I
to
mean-
like. So you release
Yeah,
2
I
videos a
used
week.
to be.
I was
Trav,
gonna say
I
I
used-
thought he had shit like ahead of like. you
No.
always
I
come
know
to me
you're a
like,
robot,
Can
but
you do
damn.
this? Can you help me with
That's
this
how I-
thumbnail? It's coming out in a month. I'm like, oh yeah, sure.
That's true. That's how I used to be, but it's gotten to the point. The thing is I got promoted, and that's really taken a lot of my time away. So now I'm like right up against it. But the thing is that I'm one of those people that does their best when they're like, you know, you procrastinate until the last minute, and it's like, okay, I have to get this done like right now. And that like kind of really gets me going, but that still takes a lot of time.
So,
But
are you trying to build that backlog back up? Or
I am. Yeah, I always am.
Okay.
This fellow in you know, I
fellow?
slagged the I slagged the Discord earlier, just, you know, offhandedly, just because I know those guys can take it. But I got a really good idea from this dude Brian that frequents there. He said, like, what if you did a video that's like, hey, here are some games like this classic game on Super Nintendo. He said, what if you put a collection of videos, or put a collection of games, a video of a collection of games about, like, you know, Super Metroid. And I was like, hey, that's kind of cool. So what I did was I researched and found these like games on these old PC systems. Like, there's this game called The Scheme on PC 88 that was released
Oh,
back
you
in
got
the
real
80s.
obscure.
wow.
Yeah, and there's a game on the Master System called Zillion. There's and then there's of course the modern games like Axiom Verge and Hollow Knight and stuff like that. And there's Super Famicom stuff like Magical Poppin'.
That's a good video
And it's
idea.
and all credit to Brian. He came up with it. It was really good. So I've been working on that all week, and
You know,
I just finished writing it, and I just finished recording the voiceover this afternoon. And I'm really lucky to be working from home.
Yeah.
because I can like fit that in.
I
Wow.
will say
But,
one
yeah.
of my like more popular videos is when I went and I was like, "Hey, here are some Genesis games that are like these Super Nintendo games." So I think you've hit on
Oh
something
yeah,
here.
that's one of my favorite videos of yours. Yeah,
Oh, thank
it's
you.
super useful.
Oh, I get so many like angry comments on that one too.
Oh god, people get so possessed. People want to relive the console wars. It's
Yeah, they'll
absurd.
always find like caveats
that
of why
Dan
like,
guy.
oh, this game doesn't count because of this, or that's not a real role playing game. How could you say? It's like, fuck off. It's my video. Write your own video.
By the way, do you think I know the answer to this already, but is Link to the Past an RPG?
Sure, why not?
No, it's not.
You know what though? Okay, to be fair, I grew up playing Nintendo. Like I had an NES. My first NES games were Ultimate Exodus, Dragon Warrior 1, and Zelda. You could not at the time tell me that there was a fucking difference between those three
Yeah,
games.
You're gonna lump those three together.
Yeah.
No matter what. Yeah.
Like that Zelda is like Zelda fit in with all my other RPG adventures. What do you mean that it's
Sure.
different just because it has heart containers and I like just at the core you're still this little hero dude with a sword going in dungeons. Like it's the same damn thing.
No, it's not.
It really
Wow.
is though.
That's my rebuttal. No, it's not.
So,
Fight.
I mean, that's the context in which I grew up and where I started like my understanding of these games.
That's understandable.
And I'm
though.
older
Like,
than
if
a lot
it's-
of the people watching my channel even now. Like,
Are you really?
I'm 36.
Oh, wow.
Oh, I'm older than you.
Well, I'm not saying I'm older than you. I'm just saying I'm in my
Well,
late.
that means that no, anybody younger than me is young.
No, you're old. Late 30s. You're pushing 40 already. If you're not already there,
Dude,
like,
I earlier today we live in New Mexico, so we have like weird stuff in our house and in our yard that's like hard to explain. Like we have a mirror
skulls?
in our
Do you have
backyard.
skulls?
No, we don't have skulls, but we have a mirror in our backyard. And it's the most damning mirror in the world because it allows you to see yourself in natural sunlight. So it's like, this is what you look like, buddy. It's kind of weird. But yeah, no, I noticed today, like, holy crap, I've got a bunch of gray hair coming right above my ears.
Oh, man.
Oh, I've got
First
like
time I
I've got a
noticed-
swatch of gray hair coming in at the temple. Like I'm hoping it turns into
exactly.
like this kind of Bride of Frankenstein like stripe is what I really want it to grow into. I don't know if it's gonna do it, but
Oh, that'd be
fingers
cool.
crossed. Yeah,
No,
wouldn't that be awesome?
Yeah,
I'd
dude.
say Rogue, like from the X-Men
Yeah, if I could
cartoon.
just get that stripe of white, like go for it, hair. If you're gonna go gray, go all the way.
Yeah, kind of a Cruella DeVille kind of deal. Yeah.
Yeah.
Should we do these next two questions?
Yeah. Before that,
think
though,
we should.
I was moving toward a slight plug for a buddy who's my proofer.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
was,
yeah.
we talked about this. What was it 20 minutes ago now? Musty Hobbit. He's
Oh, I know the guy,
I know
yeah.
him.
sweet dude.
Hey,
dude.
Musty.
Every time I finish a video, I shove it off to that guy and make him watch it, and then he responds with little nitpicky here's and there's that's helped all of my videos.
Oh, right on. That's really cool.
Yeah,
I
all
would
my
feel
videos.
bad asking my friends to proofread, although I
Oh,
could
I don't
probably
ask.
use it.
I just send it over there.
I
I
envy
honestly
you
don't have
and your
I
gumption.
honestly don't have anybody watch my stuff. Although I will say I did. Okay, when I did my Final Fantasy VII video, I had to have Pearl watch it. My girlfriend Pearl watch it to make sure that she approved,
Aw.
since that's like her favorite, thing.
Right.
And she did, so I didn't have to make any changes.
Does she
said,
watch
"You
all your
did it."
videos or just like select ones?
No, she doesn't give a shit.
I will give my husband credit. He usually will sit down, unless it's like one of those like hour-long collection things, then he doesn't give a shit. But when
Yeah.
my videos are 6 minutes long, he's like, yeah, I'll watch it.
She's like super supportive. Like, don't get me wrong, but no, she doesn't like if something like, strikes her interest. But she plays modern games. Like right now, she's in the middle of the first Dark Souls.
Oh, that's
Like
cool.
she's just trying to kill time until the Final Fantasy VII remake is here.
That's awesome.
She's just like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna grind in Dark Souls and kill these like meaningless little skeleton guys until
There you
Final
go.
Fantasy VII gets here. Yeah.
And she plays hard games.
Yeah,
Damn.
that's a tough game.
Yeah. Yeah, she's beaten 3. I don't know if she's beaten 2. She definitely hasn't beaten Bloodborne. But yeah.
That's crazy. I told you I let my wife watch the very first video I made, and she was like, "Why do you sound so much like SNESdrunk?" And I was like, "Get out of here! I'm trying to start a career. Get out of here." So
Start a career.
try to start a career over here. Get out of here. That's what I said to her. All right, up next, Top Spot 123. He says, any examples of spending way too long working on an otherwise insignificant detail? It could be in research, writing, shooting capture, or editing.
I think I like this comment too. I only like
Yeah,
two
I just
comments, and you've picked both of them.
I picked the comments that you liked, okay?
Okay, that makes sense. I would have gone through all
Because
of them.
that means you're interested in answering them. It's common sense.
That's
Maybe
fair.
I'm just polite.
Shout out to Top Spot. He's a cool dude.
Hey, Top Spot, thanks for the question.
yes.
Shout out.
Thank you.
Obligatory.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first this time.
Yeah.
For me, it is definitely writing. It is working on the phrasing of something. It is working on. Actually, it's really like making sure I get the footage of the particular thing I'm talking about.
Yes.
And sometimes
That is important.
that's not easy because I can't
No.
afford to be recording 24/7 when I'm playing a game because that takes up a shitload of hard drive space. So I can't, like, what we talked about this a couple episodes ago. What was it? Pam Cannot Be Tamed talked about like how she had like 98 gigs of
I've got a
Suikoden.
laptop,
Jesus.
and I use all my footage goes on the secondary drive, and I literally
Yeah.
will fill it up to where it's like pushing that red bar, and I'm like, oh shit, I gotta
Yeah.
go through and like prune my data.
I am pushing the red bar right now. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I gotta delete something.
But I record. I'll record everything.
I don't. I have to pick my spots.
And do you
I
know
just don't
how
have that much
horrible it is to play
space.
like a 60-hour RPG, record everything, and then go in to make that
Yes.
6-minute video, and then like, wait, I knew, and I don't take notes. I don't timestamp, and I don't
Oh,
take notes.
no.
So I'm sliding that bar back and forth, looking for that one fucking like. I knew I hit him over the head at this point. Where the hell is it? Like,
That's the worst.
That's one thing I don't do. I don't timestamp. That takes way too much time.
Yeah.
Like that's too annoying and too. I do take notes, but I don't like. Okay, I have to remember it. Like 24:23, I did this. Like I don't do that because
No.
I figure like oh I'll find it easy
yeah,
enough.
and you will
But
like digging through. The
I do save states. Like Daria bailed me out big time one time
Did I?
on. Yes, you did on the game Dark Half
Yes.
for Super Famicom.
Yes, I did.
Because I accidentally overwrote a save state on when I was playing the game on SNES 9X, and she was nice enough to send me a save state to get me back where I needed to be.
That's awesome.
It was past it, but I could go back to where I needed. And I was like, "Oh my god, I don't have to play this freaking game over again to get back to there."
That's a good game
So I
too.
can show off like one insignificant thing about the game.
Let's just take a moment, like viewers, if you have not played Half-Life, or not Half-Life, shit, Dark Half.
Half-Life.
If you've not played Dark Half, I've been drinking.
Yeah.
Drunk
If you've
friend.
not, yeah, try. I saw what the title of the podcast was. Like, I can do this.
Dark Half.
Dark Half.
Play it.
Play
Yeah.
that.
It's pretty freaking twisted. It's one of the no pun intended. It's one of the darkest games on in the 16-bit library, any system.
I'm so
pretty-
torn on it because I love the vampire just for like what he is and
Yeah.
what his story is, but he's so
He
boring in
destroys
combat.
NPCs. Oh yeah, he's freaking
Yeah, he's
terrible. in
terrible. It's
combat.
like why is the most fun character so terrible to play?
Why can't he just be himself? Why does he need to hire minions to
Yeah, these stupid like monsters and
do combat? And they're all idiots, and they're all AI controlled, and they
Yeah,
all
it's-
suck.
yeah, I don't. That game
That
had
was the
such
worst
good
part of
ideas.
the
All I
game,
want to do
yeah.
is go around and munch on the NPCs. Like, let me just go
I
and
know,
like
that was the
chew on
best.
the villagers.
Eat some souls.
Well, I'm sold. It sounds great, guys. I appreciate it. For me, I brought it up a little bit in episode 2, but I looked for that stupid Twin Eagle mistranslation for hours across
You got to tell Daria what that was.
days. Oh, yeah. So the game Twin Eagle, and I'm trying to look it up while I describe it here so I can get the quote right, but obviously it's a arcade game that was ported to the NES, and evidently the European version has what is considered a quote-unquote famous mistranslation from the Japanese to English version. And on Wikipedia, this whole entire blurb where I got this from actually says citation needed, so it may not even exist.
Oh, that's
But-
nice.
Boy, did I waste a lot of time looking for it. And I looked for every ROM I could find. I mean, I was in some deep, dark corners of the internet I did not belong in, looking for some romage. But
He's
the
now on
quote,
lists.
I'm on list. Oh boy, I'm on list for sure. So here's the Wikipedia thing says this. It says the European version of the game contains a well-known Japanese-English mistranslation as the player is informed after losing all lives that the player game is abortion. I got to see that for myself, and I can't replicate it. I can't find a ROM
It
that
still
has it.
makes me laugh.
I cannot find it. I have looked everywhere. I've downloaded
Oh.
some ROMs that I didn't need to download.
Damn you, Wikipedia.
It could all be a
You
lie.
should probably just edit that out.
I could, or my goal is to find it, and where it says citation needed, it'll just say NESfriend, and then I will have made it. That's how I know I'll have made it.
No lie, when I first started my YouTube channel, I used to go and look for I'd look up the Wikipedia page of whatever game I was reviewing and insert myself into the credits.
That's
Right
awesome.
on.
That's
It's
awesome.
a heady play.
I
You
don't
think it
know if it
benefited?
ever got me any views, but it was like, yeah, I'm the citation fucker.
You get that comment that's like, "Hey man, found your channel from Wikipedia. Very cool. Very cool stuff."
When you are a young channel, you do some desperate shit just get somebody to look at you.
No, I get it.
Speaking of which, Mega Drive Profile. This dude has a legit channel too. If you haven't seen Mega Drive Profile, I think he just goes by MDP now. He is legit. He has a question.
I like his topic.
Yeah, he has a question. When you first started YouTube, was it difficult to hear yourself in videos, and were you nervous when recording it and projecting your thoughts?
So when I first started, I loved the sound of my own voice, and I'd go back and listen and be like, "Yeah, I'm fucking amazing." When I try to go back to those videos now, they're unwatchable.
Yeah, the early videos are always rough. They're always tough.
So
to go
I
back
had
to.
I had a big enough head that I was like, "Yeah, this is gonna be great. Everyone's gonna love this."
I can't believe
That's awesome.
my stupid like Lufia video gets like comments to this day, and it's almost 7 years old, and it's like, can you guys just stop watching that?
I still get I get comments on my first video, and it's like
It's
like, how are you people like why
why are you sitting through this when I've gotten so much better since then? Yeah, it's.
I also
It
didn't get to
sucks.
answer the last question.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
you didn't?
No, I didn't. You just
Go
jumped
ahead.
on
Oh,
it,
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
What
What was the last
insignificant
question?
detail? What insignificant
Yes.
detail do you stress over? Yeah.
So I will jump down rabbit holes of finding like that little bit of trivia that I'm like, oh, that's really interesting, and I kind of like I'll craft an entire video out of it. Like I did my Demon of Laplace video that I don't think
Yes,
is of
I've-
any interest to anyone else, but
You went off on a
I
tangent
did.
about like
I
Call of
ran
Cthulhu.
with that tangent.
Yes.
I love that.
I've played, like, I grew up playing Call of Cthulhu. Like, that's like my favorite tabletop game, and I started playing this game, and I'm like, this is a ripoff. And I started seeing it everywhere. I was like, wait, this is from this book, and this is from this scenario, and what the hell is going on over here? And I was just like, no one's going to give a shit about this one topic but me, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to turn it into a video.
Yeah, but it's still fun.
Yeah. Well, I think in that instance, like, my enthusiasm kind of carries over.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I had to watch that video before I did my video on it. It was a Patreon request that somebody did it, and I was kind of I'll be honest, I was kind of dreading it because it's like it's an RPG, so it's going to be time consuming. But when I watched your video on it, I was like, this looks awesome mostly because of the Cthulhu stuff.
Yeah.
I did not know any of that stuff beforehand.
Well, I don't think most people would even pick like of the two. I just think most people playing it aren't even going to know. Like if you're
Probably not.
Yeah.
No.
like I don't think people who are the audience for the original Call of Cthulhu, which came out in the 80s, is way too old to be playing like this fan translated SNES game today. Like these are just two audiences that are not crossing over into each other.
Yeah.
So the fact that I was there and like was just like, I see this. I really don't see anyone else making that connection, or most people wouldn't.
That's cool though.
So it's the Wikipedia rabbit hole.
I love a
It
good
really-
Wikipedia rabbit hole, man.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm with you.
Totally understandable.
That's a good answer.
No, it was an excellent answer. So when you first started YouTube, was it difficult to hear yourself in videos, and were you nervous when recording and projecting your thoughts?
I guess it's me.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I guess when I first started YouTube, I had been podcasting for a long time, so I had already gone through the phase of hating myself and my voice quite a bit.
You've been over that hurdle. It doesn't matter.
And it was painful. Like
Yeah, oh sure. Yeah.
and in podcasting you just talk ad nauseum, and it's not scripted like it is in a video, and it's not as deliberate.
And that is so much harder to do.
Yeah, and it
is.
sucks to go back and listen to because you're like, what was I not only like how did I sound, but like what was I thinking? What was I talking about?
Why am I not coherent? Why can I not put a thought together?
Exactly. And I'm from the like a little town in the Appalachian Mountains, so I already have like this sort of I have this awareness that I might mispronounce words or say things hillbilly-ish, and I'm very cognizant of that always. It's like it's a huge thing. Like even in my professional life, I'm very cognizant of it. I'm very weary of it. I'm insecure about it, 100%. And then I'll do like some voiceover for a video. I'll write out a script to do a voiceover for a video. Then I'll be editing it in, and I'm like, who snuck this guy in? What is this? Did Joe Exotic come in here and do a video? Like, what is going on? And I have to re-record it because, like there's just some words that I'll just completely. I'm like, I can't put that in the video. We can't do that. So there are moments where I catch myself, and more critical of myself than, of course, anyone else is. We all are, but
Sure.
yeah, it's the hearing of my voice is something I got over a long time ago, thankfully.
Right on.
So, well, again, like I answered like my first videos. I was like, yeah, I sound great. Like, but in the moment of recording, I get like super like anxiety. Just turning on the mic, like I can read through the script 100 times, but as soon as that mic is hot, like I don't know, I get really nervous.
You don't sound nervous at all.
Like this is I guess a podcast is different because I really just feel like we're in a Discord chatting. Like this doesn't feel like
right on.
there's not the same pressure. But when I'm reading like one of my scripts and it's just like me and I've got the mic live,
Yeah.
I get sweaty and like heart starts racing.
Wow.
And it's still like I've been doing this for years and I still get that as soon as I turn on a microphone. It's just like I'm a fucking mess.
Wow.
Huh. So you that's still something you deal with today?
Mm-hmm.
Huh. Okay. So I have a weird background because I used to be like some sort of douchebag starving artist musician when I was a teenager. So with one of my first paychecks when I worked at a golf course as a teenager, I bought a Tascam, was it a 424? And it's like this crappy little 4-track where you can record 4 tracks and layer them on top of each other.
Oh, that's
and
cool.
So I would do guitar, I would do bass, I would do this unbelievably crappy drum machine back in the day called Hammerhead. Anybody who knows what that is laughing their ass off right now because Hammerhead was unbelievably like cheap and crappy. And then I would do vocals on the other, and I'll never forget like the first time I heard my voice. I was like 18, I think. No, I would have been 16. And just hearing my own voice, like, oh God. Like just that moment is very like, it's I used to work with a woman named Colleen, and she called them come to Jesus moments. that was a come to Jesus moment where it was like, okay,
It's a phrase my mother uses.
Yeah. this is the reckoning. This is like, okay, this is really what I sound like. This is what I got to work with. Okay, this is the reality. I better start wrapping my head around it because it's not great. So, but as far as like voiceovers go, I don't care. Like I just talk. Like this, I just talk and whatever. Like I guess my attitude is that it's just gaming. It doesn't matter. Like it's just video games.
Yeah.
Like it's the same attitude with comments. Like it's just video games. It's I'm not saving lives. I'm not like out there like preaching, like I'm not teaching science. I'm not doing any of this other stuff. I'm just talking about video games, and it doesn't matter. It does not matter. If it matters that much to you, then you've got a problem.
Right.
Like you need to get like better priorities.
No,
because...
and this is fun to do. Like shit, we
and
play video games and like bullshit about them.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's fun to share a hobby like that. Believe me, I feel extremely lucky to just share this hobby that I've had since I first got a Super Nintendo. Well, actually, probably going before that when my sister had her Atari 2600, and I feel extremely lucky to be able to share, like, and to have an audience, like, and especially an audience that's like grown to this. It's just freaking surreal. It'll never not be surreal, but it's like it's still just video games. Like who freaking cares? Like there's real stuff that matters, and guess what? This isn't one of them.
No.
It'll never be
No.
one of them. Okay? No matter how much you care, it'll never
No,
be
it's
one
like
of them.
when reading on Twitter and people are like, "Oh, gamers' rights." People are shitting on the gamers. It's like we're not a
Shut up.
nationality. Like we're not a minority group. We play video games.
Shut up. Ugh.
That's not.
I guess, you know, they feel entitled because they're spending money, but still, shut up. Like, you sound like soccer moms at Target. Like, just get over yourselves.
I will say I think that attitude definitely shines through your video. Like it is very conversational. Like I just feel like there's a dude on the couch talking to me about the game he's playing, and I think that it's just a video game attitude kind of seeps through your voiceover, and same for Daria too.
Really,
it's,
the idea.
it's both. It's like
Yeah.
someone's just kind of. I feel like I'm just hanging out and someone's telling me about a game, which is
That's really the idea. And videos in channels like Daria's and Super Derek and all those other folks out there that project that same vibe. It's like, yeah, that's really what I'm going for, is just like, hey, I'm some dude sitting next to you saying, hey, look at this game. It sucks. Or, it's called Draken. Or, hey, this game is awesome, or whatever.
I hate to say it. When I did my Dragon View video and I played a little bit of Draken, and I had already written up, like, because I tried it before, and I'm like, this game does not make any sense to me. It's awful. I hate it. And then I went back because I was like, oh, I got to capture some footage for this.
Uh-oh.
I started to dig it.
Oh,
no.
no.
I did. I started to, like, come over to the other side on Draken. And
it is intriguing. I'll give it that. It's got like a weird mood to it where the music is really interesting.
well, when you go
Like
into the castles, it suddenly becomes like a point and click in there.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm like, I'm all
That's the
about
thing,
this.
though.
This is fun.
That's the thing, though, is getting from point A to point B, though, is a huge problem because there's nothing on the world map that like tells you. There's no like landmarks.
Mm-mm.
There's nothing that like, and there's no
and
hints
you'll go
that tells
from
you
like
where to go.
safety to like demon dogs that eat your whole party, and it's like, what just happened? What
Yeah.
happened to my safety
Or
zone?
the stars themselves come alive and kill you just
What?
for, you know, wandering in the wrong place. Yeah.
I hate that.
That didn't happen to me, but that happened to a lot of commenters, apparently.
I'm still terrified of the dog head.
Yeah, the dog head's pretty bad.
Yeah, but I'm actually supposed to, if I'd ever like get off my butt and start recording, I'm supposed to do a collaboration where I'm supposed to play the SNES Draken, and then my friend Andrew is supposed to play the PC version. And then
Oh.
Aggro Sky is supposed to play some other versions. So we're going to compare like the three versions together.
Wait a second. Doesn't Aggro Sky only play shoot 'em ups?
He is the shmup master, but his favorite game apparently is Draken. Like he's a huge
What?
as soon as I put out
What?
that Dragon View video, he was like all over me of how could you like
Wait a okay, so
besmirch
I have
this beloved
I-
title. And I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. And Andrew was coming at me from the other side, like, what is wrong with you? This game is amazing. And I'm like, I'm sorry.
Wait a second.
So-
He has not he follows me on Twitter and he has not yet
You hurt his feelings.
said anything about my video. So apparently maybe he's not following me anymore.
Licking his
Maybe I hurt
wounds.
his feelings
Maybe
that
he knew
badly.
it was coming and he couldn't bring himself to watch it.
That's probably.
Or maybe he's reasonable and he's like, I like it, but maybe not everyone does. Maybe he's one of those people that are just.
I
like,
mean,
cool.
I am yeah, like, I don't know. Maybe he just felt more comfortable yelling at me. I don't know. We're pretty friendly, so, but
I don't know why I'm laughing at that. I'm just kind of
because
far gone by
you're
now.
drinking.
Yeah,
We've reached
pretty
the
much.
stupid giggly stage. Everything's funny.
Yeah, we've reached the sign off. Is where we've reached.
I mean, we've talked about Draken more than I think Draken was talked about when it released. Between your video and this conversation.
More than it deserves, for sure.
If only there were influencers around at the time, we could have made Draken a success.
But I guess that does do it for a Drunk Friend podcast. Daria, do you have anything to plug? Like, you know, aside from the YouTube channel or maybe the YouTube channel itself, where can people find you online, all that stuff?
Oh, well, I am pretty easily found at DariaPlaysRPGs on YouTube. I am
Not just Daria Plays.
Yes,
Daria
it's
Plays
Daria
RPGs.
Plays
You don't want to
RPGs.
get that Russian stuff.
no.
You don't want it.
I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you're into the cute little Russian
Maybe
chick.
you do,
I don't know.
but-
I'm not going to judge you. I'm also Daria Plays on Twitter. You probably don't want to search for Detective Daria. That's going to be a little... That was a joke that's probably run its course, but I'm now attached to it.
Let's see, Daria is a very fun Twitter account to follow. I can vouch for that.
Right on.
No.
Yes. Do it. It's a good time, especially if you want to see people. I don't know. You do a good job of the comeuppance in a lot of your responses is great. I love it.
I've been banned a
agree.
few times.
What? Really? I didn't know that. That's another podcast.
Apparently, you got to be careful on Twitter. There are things you can say and can't say. Apparently, drawing Link as a pair of butt cheeks.
What?
Is not kosher on Twitter.
Man,
Boo.
I've seen worse than that. I've looked for worse than that. Okay. Be sure to check out polykill.com to find more podcasts like this one. And if you'd like to reach out to the show, you can do so by emailing drunkfriendpodcast@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you.
If you'd simply like to help out the show, remember to rate and review us wherever you listen.
Find us all on Twitter. I'm at TravPlaysGames.
And I'm at SNESdrunk.
And Daria is at DariaPlays.
Also, we want to give a shout out to Coolor for the podcast music. The song you heard is called Electric Star Bounce, and you can find a link to more of his music on the Buzzsprout podcast page.
And I would also like to shout out Josh Leslie for our podcast logo. It's making everyone out there quite thirsty, I hear.
Yay, Josh Leslie.
Yeah, he's a good guy. At Frantic Society on Twitter if you want to follow him. Be sure to catch us on YouTube, and thanks for listening.
And we hope you have a great rest of your day.